Good morning. It is, oops, I'm not wearing my magic watch today, but I think it is a Tuesday, 10th of June, 2025. I will check and make sure that I'm correct, and if I'm correct, I will post it up there so you'll know. This little chit chat really is really unscripted little chit chat. And really, as always, you don't have to watch. There's no point in watching, really. But if you do, well, you're free to. And if you do, then you're free to comment on what you see, and that makes it all fun. Anyway, here I am, a thoughtful Tuesday, or a terrific Tuesday, or you could say it's a thoughtful Tuesday and a terrific Tuesday. I think you'd be correct both ways. Anyway, last night I went online and I looked at Microsoft's Copilot. If you have a Microsoft computer, then you also have Copilot, which is their artificial intelligence. And I got to tell you, I am very impressed with Copilot. So I asked the Copilot about Microdacism. Sure enough, it had an answer. And I also asked the Copilot, how can one live a life according to Microdacism? And again, the Copilot had an answer. You do understand, right, that my purpose for Microdacism was simply to tell people that it is okay to think for yourself. After doing a lot of research and discovering that all the gods, Apollo, Zeus, all the gods were all man-made. They became gods because man chose to worship them, or men were encouraged to worship them. Okay? And even the most prevalent of religion today was not based on who they think it was. It's the product of Mirtha. Even Dr. Martin Luther King understood the power of Mirtha. But the Dr. King was a smart man. He knew that he could not get to people if he becomes confrontational. And since the entire thing was all based on basically nothing, why not use the something that people believe in to get his message across? And he did. I'm a follower of Dr. Martin Luther King. I believe in nonviolence. And I believe that knowledge will always outperform ignorance. That's Dr. Martin Luther King. And I will also believe that love is far more important and powerful than hate. Again, Dr. Martin Luther King. But he had his heroes, you know. Mahatma Gandhi may not have liked black people or Africans, or so the story goes. But no matter what you believe about Mahatma Gandhi, he did take India away from the British without a war. I believe wholeheartedly that we as human beings can do a lot of things, if we understand our intent, and if we believe firmly in our consciousness, and if we in fact decide to come together for a common goal. intent. It is my intent that no matter how the politicians are trying to make America white again, it's not going to happen. Because it's my intent to make sure that all Americans understand that making America white again is a folly. A folly. And my intent is to have people think for themselves and do whatever they can in very small ways to counter the belief that America ought to be a white country. America is not South Africa. It is not a country that should embrace apartheid, no matter who is spending millions of dollars to make it happen. So that's our intent. Our intent to make America a country where there's freedom and liberty for all, where justice for all. So how do we do that? I think the only way to do that is to think for yourself. Earlier I talked about Mirtha and how a lot of people believe that their religion is based on an individual when it is absolutely not. It is based on Mirtha. Look it up. Well, the reason why some people no longer follow that line of thought is because they are now thinking for themselves. They understand clearly that just because they're born into a political system or a religious system, they need not stay there because they are always evolving. That's right. We're all evolving. We're evolving physically, we're evolving mentally, and we're evolving spiritually. We're constantly evolving. And to us, people who are part of Microdacism, we know that one of the ways to find out how we should think and why we should think is to go into nature. I have talked about that a lot, so you know what I'm talking about. So, consciousness, intent, our intent is to make America a country where liberty and justice for all is the mantra. Okay? And we can do that. We become more conscious of ourselves, which means that we become more conscious of our divinity when we think for ourselves. So, Copilot has done a great job explaining Microdacism, which is my creation, and I thank Copilot. Because the more of us who think for ourselves, is the faster we will get to a point where we all can enjoy Eden. Because, you know, this is Eden, and we know that when we don't listen to others, when we don't depend on others as to how we should think, how we should act. Microdacism rule number 9. Anyway, that's my little chit-chat for today. No magic watch. I don't have a magic watch today, but I believe I'm right. What I'd like you to do is to go out today and have a terrific Tuesday.